For some of you that are actually, you feel like you have some street cred with a group of young men, I would call some types of conversations. I get 5 guys together and I go, hey, we've been hanging out together, mountain biking for years, and I love you guys about as much as I love anybody, but we don't really share deep things, and I kind of want to bump it up a notch with you guys. So would you guys consider having a Monday morning meeting where we actually talk about real life issues? Some of you, how many of you, when I say that, you feel like you could do that? And you know the guys that would already say yes. So I go, immediately initiate that. If some of you go, no, I don't know who they are, and I don't know if that would work, that means you got to spend more time developing the network of relationships. But when you're ready, call the party is what we say. If it's a bunch of young couples that you know really respect you and your spouse in the neighborhood, you can literally, that's what we used to do in our neighborhood. We would get people around the mailbox. We'd all be standing out in the street, and I would declare my love. Man, I love you guys. Cheryl and I were thinking about maybe going deeper. Just talking about parenting and life and whatever you guys want to talk about. I don't know if I can remember any time somebody said no to that. So the life group, sometimes it's hard to invite them into life group, right? Because they feel like they're coming into some weird closed Christian group. So you can have an alongside invitation for a supper club. Hey, let's just start a supper club. Let's just go to each other's home once a month, and let's just, so anything like that I think will get conversation going. If you have the type of life group where you feel like as a group you have street cred, then yeah, for sure you can invite people into that, but be careful, try not to overwhelm. And if you have couples in your life group that are over talkers or haven't heard this type of training, you know that you're already afraid for your friends to come in, right? Okay, so you literally have to have honest talks with people in your life group and go, look, let's process this all together. Because if you can't trust your life group people with your lost friends that are on their journey, who Facebook posts completely opposite things that your life group people post, then it won't work. You actually have to train your life group people to live as missionaries, right? So I'll just throw a couple other things. I coach people. Try not to ever be political. Even though you are political and you have political thoughts, if you haven't figured it out yet, your political thoughts do not influence anybody. They just make people mad, right? So you can be politically active, but I say try not to be political. Try to keep the conversation on life-giving things, not arguments. You just lose. Most of the people I've shared the Lord with, I know I don't share their political or worldview. I don't ever address those things because you never are going to get a change of heart or a change of mind without a change of the soul. So the only thing I think about is how do I get Jesus to enter in? Until Jesus does a transformational work, all the other issues are just fighting issues, right? And they don't really matter to the Lord. He doesn't really care how they vote or what they think. Jesus is always trying to get the heart. So try to keep it on that level. And there's lots of people in our CrossFit gym that are so right-wing, you're just like, oh my gosh. And then other, my little warm soda crew, they are so left-wing, So will the two ever meet? Probably not. So I have to create multiple little communities for these people. And somehow, hopefully, they begin to find Jesus and make some transition. So